Okay, this is my 2000 Vortec Mustang GT. '17 rims.
That was me 9 years ago when I used to have my 2000 Mustang GT with the Vortec Supercharger. If you've been following this channel, you already know that I own a 2003 Terminator Cobra. If you're new, please consider subscribing. I post a lot new edge Mustang content on this channel. Going back to the video, the goal of this video is to answer a simple question. Is it worth supercharging your 2-valve Mustang GT or new edge Mach 1, or is it worth just to spend the extra cash and buy a Terminator Cobra? All of that and more coming up right now. So let's say that you just bought your new edge Mustang GT. Let's say that you pay $5K for it, for a very nice one, you know, clean one, maybe 100,000 miles, you know, nice paint, decent conditions, 5-speed, or you bought a Mach 1 for around $8,000 to $10,000 for a nice clean one, and you're thinking that, you know what, it's quick, you want that Terminator power, you want that Coyote power, you know, to keep up with the modern stuff that's coming out of Detroit right now. And you're thinking about throwing a supercharger on it, but on the back of your head you always wanted a Terminator. Now, is it worth to go that route of putting that supercharger? That's what we're gonna analyze here. First of all, what are the power limits of each motor? So for the 2-valve motor, the power limit is being known for years now that is 450 real wheel horsepower, and that is due to the weaker connecting rods that are found on the 2-valve motor of the Mustang GT. Anything over that, you're pretty much rolling the dice and the rods could give out at any point. Now for the Mach 1, that will be 500 real wheel horsepower. Again, the same problem, the rods were not built to handle boost. Now let's examine the Terminator motor. The Terminator motors came with manly rods. Those rods are the same that I use for NASCAR. They're built to handle a lot of power, so they could easily handle up to 1,000 real wheel horsepower. So there you see a big difference between 450, 500 versus pretty much 800 to 1,000, and sometimes some guys have even pushed more. So from a power limit standpoint, it's not even close between these three motors. However, it is really close between the 2-valve motor and the 4-valve motor found in the Mach 1. But once you compare it to the Terminator, it's not even close. The Terminator motor was so overbuilt from the factory with forced pistons, forced manly rods, and forced crankshaft and an iron block that just can handle so much power that the 2-valve and the 4-valve Mach 1 just fall short. This is something that I'm gonna be referring a lot. What is your goals power wise? If you only want to make 420 real wheel horsepower on your 2-valve, or 460 safely on a Mach 1, as long as you get a good tune and enough fuel to meet that demand. But if your goal is to make 600, 700 or 800 horsepower, your best bet is to go ahead and get a Terminator. Unless, of course, you don't mind pulling the engine off your car and getting a built Battleman that can cost a lot of money in parts and labor. Let me just say that there's never enough power, but financially maybe that's the best route. Again, if you just want a 400 horsepower Mustang. And talking about financially, this brings me on to my next point. Alright guys, now we're going to shop for superchargers. And we're in Google and I pulled Vortec supercharger kit for 2003 Mustang GT. Keep in mind, the Mach 1 prices for supercharger are gonna be very similar priced. So here, this one, this is a 2003 Mustang Vortec GT kit, the Vortec V2. That was the same supercharger that I had on my 2000 Mustang with the Vortex supercharger. And this is the most basic one. So this one is not gonna include an intercooler for the supercharger. So as you can see, the air is gonna be pulled within the fender, and then it's gonna come here and it's gonna blow by with the supercharger. And this one is gonna be priced at $3,520, almost $22. And so let's see what it includes. So the features is a Vortex V2 supercharger, increases about 100 horsepower. 7, this is with a stock pulley on the supercharger. 7 to 8.5 maximum. Max boost 26 psi, which is good enough, because if you build your motor down the road, you could pretty much make 600 horsepower. Well, it does not include fuel management and upgrades or custom tuning. So what this means is that you're not gonna be included with a fuel pump, and you're not gonna be included injectors for this that you're going to need if you want to add a supercharger. Remember, you're increasing air into the motor. You're gonna need more fuel, and that's eventually gonna add to the cost. So you see here, this is what it mainly is gonna look like. All right, let's get out of this one. See, this one is for a Pro Charger. So this is a Pro Charger. The difference between the Vortex and the Pro Charger is pretty much gonna be the brand, and this Pro Charger is gonna come with an intercooler. And with that, what is that going to do? That means that it's gonna be cooler air, and it's gonna make more power. Okay, and let's see what this is gonna include. This is gonna be 55 to 60% more horsepower. It's gonna include the head unit up to 8 pounds of boost. This you could easily swap with a smaller pulley. Air-to-air intercooler. Fits, and see description. No injectors, no tuning. This is just a kit, and this is going to be $5,634. Okay. Again, now let's search for a Cannibal. This is gonna be a Cannibal kit for 99 to 04 tube off. This is gonna be the kit. It's gonna bring the lower manifold. It's gonna bring the supercharger. It's gonna bring everything that you need. I don't believe this includes fuel management. Easily 750. Obviously, 9 to 28 psi boost range. And the fuel pump booster supply, non-supply. Fuel injectors, non-supply. Computer, non-supply. Again, you're gonna need to invest in injectors, fuel pump, and custom tuning. Okay? So if you want to put that supercharger there, and this is actually going to be if you want to install Eaton blower from the Terminator Cobra. If you want to get that whine, that iconic whine of the Terminator, you're gonna want to get this Vortex kit. And this is actually, this seems like a great price, but remember, this does not include a supercharger. So no, this is a partial kit, so without the supercharger and several other items that the customer will need to purchase on their own. So this is not going to include the supercharger. This is not going to include the fuel system. This is not going to include any tuning. This is just so you can bolt in your supercharger on top. So let's see, for example, a Whipple, you could put a VMP, see, you could put a VMP, you could put even a GT500, look, this is a tube off with a VMP on top, very clean. This is a tube off with the Terminator Supercharge. Yeah, I've had the car for 3 years, 23,000 miles, 1180, pretty impressive. And it's making 430. You see, all the owners are gonna be keeping the power for the tube off under 450 at 12 psi on a Mustang. Wow, pretty good. It's very impressive stuff. I love the Vortex kit, but it's just so expensive So expensive once you add everything up. Alright guys, so now let's just do simple calculation. You know, simple math is often the best. So let's say that you bought a GT for 5,000, right? Like in the beginning of the video we said, you know, 5,000. So say 5,000. Say that you spend with the fuel and everything. Say you bought, you know, spend around 5K for the kit, you know, with the fueling, everything, and the tuning. Well, not the tuning. So we're 10 plus. So put another 1,000 in tuning with everything, the dyno, and all the bits and pieces there. So two buff, you're looking most likely 11K, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. That's with the car included. Now let's do a Mach 1. So Mach 1, let's say 9,000. You pay 9,000 for nice clean one use, maybe 80,000 miles. And we're gonna throw the 5 for the supercharger. That will be 14 plus 1,000, and that will bring up the cost to 15. Now 15, you're pretty much getting there into Terminator territory. So the question that we asked in this video is it worth to supercharge your new Edge Mustang GT or to just go ahead and buy a Terminator? The only person that can truly answer that question, that is you. Chances are that if you own a new Edge Mustang GT or a Mach 1, you might have sentimental value towards that car and you want to see the best version of that car. Or if you're just like me, you always dream of owning a Terminator Cobra. With the Cobra, you get a built motor from the factory, a supercharger, the 6-speed T56 that holds way more power than the T3650 found in the GT and Mach 1, an IRS suspension that handles bumps and road imperfections way better than a solid axle car. Plus the interior is better in my opinion, and a timeless exterior that has aged really well for the Terminator, making it one of the best and meanest muscle car of all time. It is clear that the Terminator is more expensive, but it's also more exclusive, and the prices for these cars have only gone up in the past 10 years, making it a safer investment. Hey, I know, finding a Terminator can be a challenge and a headache, at least finding one that is being well taken care of and reasonable priced. So for this reason, supercharging your new Edge GT or Mach 1 might be the better choice. Again, it all boils down to personal preference. Is 400 to 450 good for you? If it is, then it's great. If you want more, then consider buying a Termi. So what do you think, guys? Is it worth supercharging your GT or Mach 1, or just save up and get a Terminator? Please let me know in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching. Make sure to hit that like button, and if you're new here, please consider subscribing for a lot more new Edge, Mustang and car content coming your way. Once again, thanks for watching.